afternoon, class. Do y'all remember your whole number skills and how we've been talking about adding whole numbers and subtracting whole numbers?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, good. Well, today we're going to start a new topic. It's something you've never learned before. It's fractions. Does anybody know what a fraction is?
It's a piece of something.
Right, that's basically right. A fraction is a part of a whole. Just like, let's write it on here so we can remember the definition. Part of a whole. So what does that mean? Let's think about some times all of us like pizza. So think about a time we have a whole pizza. And you're not going to eat a whole pizza by yourself. You would only have a slice. So if you were to eat one slice of the pizza, which this is my pizza right here. If you were to eat this slice, how much you wouldn't have the whole pizza, but you had some pizza, right? So you would have 1/4 of the pizza. Okay? So, can anybody else think of times when we have fractions in the real world, or when you have a piece of a whole?
We use fractions in money, right?
That's right. Sometimes we have quarters or dimes or pennies. That's a part of a dollar. Fractions are part of the whole. What about another example?
Humans are fractions.
Not quite. Can you have part of a body? No, you can't have half of my body walking here. You can only have fractions of things that can be part of a whole, okay? So, not quite a human, but you're on the right track. What about the movie Cars? Everyone likes movie Cars, right? And have you ever heard of a movie that's been rated on the commercial? It says, this is a great movie, it has this many stars. Well, I looked up Cars, and it has 4 out of 5 stars, which is a good rating, just like it has here. So 4 out of 5 stars. So the fraction for that would be
4/5.
right, Andrew, thank you. 4 out of 5. And when we look at all of this, we think 5 is all of the stars, right? Which is what we call the denominator. And the denominator is the whole part of the group. And I like to think of denominator as down. So we think denominator, down part of the fraction. And the numerator is the part we're talking about. So in this case, we're talking about 4 of the 5 stars. So the 4 is the numerator, and 5 is the denominator. Does that make sense to everyone? Mm-hmm. All right, let's write it on here one more time. This is the numerator, and this is the denominator. Remember, down denominator. Alrighty. Okay, so let's do an example together. We're all familiar with the number line, right? We've been working with the number line a lot with whole numbers and how numbers can go from least to greatest. We can see that on the number line, right? Well, we can also do fractions on a number line. So let's take a look at what we mean. Here's a number line right here. And let's think of another time when you use fractions in the real world. How many people have baked cookies before? Everyone's baked cookies, right? So when we bake cookies, there are fractions in the recipes. And so let's say, for this example, we need 1/2 of a cup of sugar for our cookies, okay? So on our number line, this represents 1, okay? Right here, this is 1 number, 1 whole, okay? So if you want 1/2 of something, you count the whole, each part of the number line, okay? So 1, 2, and if you're getting half of it, like most of us know, it's 1/2. Does everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay, good. So, Andrew, what is the numerator in this number?
1.
Right, because that's the part of what we need. And Laura, what's the denominator?
2.
Exactly, because 2 is the whole. Okay, so now that we've done 1/2, because there's 1 part, 2 parts, so if we need 1 of the 2 parts, that is 1/2. So what if we have more friends coming over and we need more cookies and our recipe needs to be bigger, so we're going to need more sugar. And this time we need 3/4 of a cup of sugar, okay? So we're going to take our number line and divide it into 4 groups. 1 group, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, does everybody see that? Now, if you want 3/4, you would count 1, 2, 3. This would be your marker. And that is where 3 out of the 4 lines on the spots on the number line, okay? So that is how you have 3/4. 4 is our what?
Denominator.
Right, 4 is the denominator because that's the whole. There's 4 of them in here. And 3 is the
Numerator.
right. 3 is the numerator because this time we need 3 out of 4. Okay? Okay, so now that you're all learning the most important skills of how we make a fraction, how a fraction is a part of a whole, right? I think we should do a fun activity to really master our skills. What do y'all think?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to pass you a Hershey bar. When you get your Hershey bar in your napkin, do not eat the Hershey bar or break the Hershey bar or mess with the Hershey bar in any way because it's going to be our fraction activity. Okay, I have my Hershey bar here. So, can anyone tell me how many squares make up their Hershey bar?
12.
Right, yeah, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, if we're talking about fractions, making a fraction with this Hershey bar, what would 12 be in the fraction?
The numerator.
That's close. Why do you think it's the numerator? Well, you're probably thinking that because we counted 12, which is right, and that is a part of it, but 12 make up the whole candy bar. If I ate a square, we wouldn't have a whole candy bar, right? So 12 makes up the whole thing, okay? So 12 would be our denominator, okay? So what if we want to break these up into fractions? And let's say for the first one, I wanted to eat half of my Hershey bar. Who all knows how many squares would make half of the Hershey bar?
6
Can you count?
squares. 6 squares make half of the chocolate.
Right, yeah. Here are the 6 squares. And we can see, if we look at it, that's half of the Hershey bar, okay? Half. So, if I ate 6 squares out of the Hershey bar, with a fraction, how many Hershey squares did I eat? Can anybody tell me?
6 out of 12.
Right. That's exactly right. It's 6 out of 12. And we know 12 is our denominator because 12 is the whole Hershey bar and 6 is the numerator because 6 is the part that we ate. Okay? So if we keep doing fractions with the same Hershey bar, the denominator is not going to change because the whole stays the same, okay? So let's say I was feeling like I only wanted to eat this top row. Okay, I only wanted to eat these squares. If I only ate those, what would my fraction be for the amount of Hershey squares I ate?
4 over 12.
4 over 12. That is exactly right, Laura. Thank you. And we know that because out of the 12, we ate 4. That is part of our whole Hershey bar, okay? So, maybe I think I want to eat 3/4 of it. I want to eat 3 of these right here. These 3 columns, okay? So instead of going this way, I'm going to munch all 3 of these. How many is that?
There are 9 squares.
That's exactly right. So 9 would be the what?
Numerator.
Right. If we're writing a fraction for the amount I ate, 9 would be the numerator, and what would still be the denominator?
12.
Good job. The denominator stays the same. Okay? Because we still have 12. This time we decided we wanted to eat 9 of them. Alright, so on the last one, I think I'm getting really hungry, and I think I want to eat the whole Hershey bar. Can I make a fraction out of eating the whole Hershey bar?
No, you can only write fractions for a part.
Well, that is true. Fractions fractions do represent parts, but we can still write a fraction for the whole thing, okay? So if I was to eat the whole Hershey bar, how many squares would I eat?
You're eating 12 squares.
Right, if I was going to eat all of them, I would eat all 12 squares, which would be my numerator. And how many are there total?
12.
12. So as we can see, this starts as our whole, 12 out of 12, okay? So you can write a fraction for a whole number, which would be, in this case, the whole Hershey bar. You could still write a fraction for it. But then I wanted to eat all of it. Does that make sense to everyone? Are there any questions? No? Okay, so you can all set your Hershey bars down. We still can't eat them just yet, but I think we're just going to wrap up a few things and just refresh our minds of what we learned today. I know that fractions is a new concept and it can be kind of confusing, but y'all did a really great job. So, who can tell me how we defined a fraction? What did we say a fraction is?
Part of the whole.
That's exactly right. A fraction is a part of a whole. It's the part of the pizza we ate. It's the part of the stars that got the rating. It's the part of the number line. Or the part of the Hershey bar that we wanted to eat. When you're finding a fraction, you think, how much of the whole thing are we asking for, okay? And so today we're going to do a couple more examples. I think I've gotten really good at fractions, okay? So let's say after this you're going to go to PE, and in PE you have to run 6 laps around the gym. That's a lot. And you've only run 2, so you're getting really tired and you're thinking, how many laps have I run out of the whole? What would my fraction be? So if I was to already have run 2 out of my 6 laps, my fraction would look like this, right?
No, you mixed up your numbers.
I mix them up? Oh, so what is it supposed to be, Laura?
It's supposed to be 2 over 6.
Because 2 is my part. That is exactly right. 2 is how many laps I've run out of the total, out of the whole exercise, which is 6, okay? Great job. So let's do one more example so we can remember. Say I go to do arts and crafts after this, and I go to get my markers out of the box, and some of them are missing. There's supposed to be 6 markers in the box, but I only have 3. So if I want to see how many markers out of the whole I have in my box, what would my fraction be, Jackie?
It would be 3 on top of 6.
That's exactly right. 3 on top of 6. 6 is the denominator. What is the denominator?
The whole.
Right, the whole. And 3 is the part, which is the, what we call it?
Numerator.
Exactly. Part over whole. So for the rest of the week, I want you to be thinking of times when we have fractions, not just when you're in school, but when you're at home or when you're playing sports or anything like that. There are fractions everywhere we look. So be thinking, because we'll be talking more about them later this week. We're going to start adding the fractions and subtracting the fractions. So keep a mental note. You all did a really great job and you all have come a long way. I know fractions are hard to understand at first, but you all have done so great. I think we should celebrate by eating our Hershey bar. Good job. Have a great day.